Hello, everyone out there in podcast land. It's me, yes, again, Rude Ronnie Davey with the Get Happy podcast. Let's do this. I am so excited today. My guest is the fabulous, handsome, very entertaining Mr. Connor Hill. Thank you so much for joining us for the podcast today.
Thank you for the introduction. I kind of want to be like, get happy. Woot, 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 woot. Get happy. Woot, woot. That's as far as I can go with my.
It's all good. It's all good. I'm just excited that you're here. And thank you so much for choosing this conversation with me today. I actually had something very specific in mind. So you guys, it's a little bit different than the normal thing. But before we dive into that, Connor, would you please tell our listeners and those watching on YouTube now and in the future who you are, what you do, who you be, all the things?
Oh my God. Today, that's hard to answer because I really have no idea who I am today. But I do know that a part of me not knowing who I am is because I'm an Access Consciousness certified facilitator. And that's pretty much what I do is destroy my reality every day. And today it's been a big one. So today's been the biggest one in a long time. And so I'm like,
Hey, you guys, just so you know, Connor just finished a 7-day. And
I wasn't actually at the 7-day.
Oh, you weren't the 7-day?
No, I was facilitating foundation during the 7-day. Yeah.
Pardon moi, I stand corrected. But anytime we take a class or facilitate a class, our whole universe changes. And so I know what you mean by being sort of, I won't say brain dead, but it's kind of like you don't have a brain anymore.
Nope.
So,
gone.
So
Not
like,
right now.
Who would you be, right?
Yeah.
The sky is the limit. You know, it's like I've said several times to you guys out there that, you know, what if you were just born on the planet and there was no one else around? Who would you be?
Oh, I'd have way too much fun.
Yeah, I know. It's kind of like, but I love it. So Connor's also an Access Consciousness facilitator. We are so lucky that we get to facilitate classes. And we were discussing this before we got on the call, to different parts of the planet. So Russian, Turkish people and all the stuff.
Brazil.
What are some of the classes that you actually teach?
Oh, my newest ones are Being You classes and 3-day body classes. And then I've been doing Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider for like 5 or 6 years. 6 years, almost 6 years.
Shut the front door.
Yeah.
Dude, okay, here's the deal. I live in the South.
Yeah.
There's a lot of little, farmers and things like that, horse things.
Yeah.
I don't personally have a horse, but I know lots of people that do.
I have a horse. You know this guy, he's got a horse.
All right, then. We got to talk about maybe doing a little something in Nashville where I reside.
Yeah. And can we have like a concert at the nighttime too? It sounds awesome.
Good. What you want? Baby, I got it. Anyway, we could.
What you need?
You know I got it.
Oh, yeah. All I'm asking
is for a little respect, just a little bit, baby, just a little bit. R-E-S-P-E-C-T, find out what it means to me. R-E-S-P-E-C-T. Anyway.
I like it.
You guys are going to have to come to the Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider class so that you can get the rest of that. Anyway, I digress. So 3-day foundation, obviously, you just taught that. Conscious Horse, Conscious Rider, Being You. What else? Anything else you want to share?
Random things like my own stuff. I'm again brain dead today. I mean, I've got the Being You book club going on right now, and it's actually almost finished. And today was Being You, Being Undefined. So that's, kind of contributed quite a bit.
To the no brain thing.
And I keep forgetting that I'm doing that call, and I'm like, oh, you know what? That thing's kind of contributing a lot to changing everything. So
true story.
Yeah.
I know. It's like I taught this Becoming Money workshop class, right? And I've taught it a few times. So here I'm teaching it. We get to the end of 10 days. And I was like, you guys, I think we need just a couple more days. And we need 10 more days. So I ended up teaching another 10 days.
Yeah.
And of course, as you can guess, by the 9th day, they wanted 10 more days. So we did 10 more and we ended up doing 40 days.
Wow.
And now we do this monthly money come class. And what was so funny is all of us are making so much more money.
Oh, nice.
Including me. It's like I literally had a dog walk up to me with a couple of 20s in its mouth.
What?
That's no joke.
That's
I
a
saw this
mini
dog in
mini.
my yard, and so I walked outside. I'm like, "Hey, dude, what are you doing? You lost? Where's your mommy? Where's your daddy?" And then it comes up to me and I was, "What you got in your mouth?" And it opens up its mouth, and it's all nasty. I mean, I literally had to launder it because it was all slobbery. But it was 220s. I was like, and I'm like looking around. I don't see anybody around. I'm like, oh my goddess, that's so crazy. I'm willing to receive money from the mouth of a dog. So
That sounds
I'll
like a
mean,
perfect place to receive money.
I'll receive it from anywhere. Yeah. So this is the Get Happy podcast. So I have to ask you, Connor,
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
how do you get your happy on?
How do I get it on?
Oh,
I'm part of the way I get it on apparently is I think about perverted jokes, and then I'm like, nobody really likes my perverted jokes. So I just kind of tell them to myself in my head, and I'm like, that's funny.
Come on. Surely there's one you can share with us.
Oh, well, like right now, when you said, how do you get your happy on? I'm like, getting happy on? That's funny. It just kind of sounds
Ah,
like getting happy on. I like imagine like pulling a condom over your whole body and be like, let's get our happy on, baby. So this is just where
it is
my head
perverted.
wanders. It's super perverted. It just
Yes,
wanders off into the gutter
I
and it
like
never
it.
comes back.
I like it. It's like before we got on the call, you guys, I was talking about my closet and how I have my section for my workout clothes
Yeah.
and my suits and my whatever class teaching clothes and my whatever. And then what did I say?
Something about I think it some type of clothing.
Some type of clothing that I wear on stage,
Yeah.
like my hooker
I was
clothes.
like, oh right, that one. Yep. See now I'm
And
excited.
it wakes the whole body up. So
Yeah.
I don't even know if I've ever talked to you guys about this, but I am a performer. I'm not a stripper, but I
She's not a
am,
hooker either. I don't think.
what's that?
She's not a hooker either. I
And
don't
I'm
think,
actually
not to
not
my
a
knowledge,
hooker. I mean, I'm
at least
willing
not advertised.
to I'm willing to
See,
embody the energy of it.
I always imagined hookers like kind of were the people that walked the streets. So I don't imagine you being a hooker. If you did, I would imagine you'd be someone that like didn't walk the streets, and you would
Yeah.
be like a
High
well,
dollar
what they
hooker.
call like a courtesan, as
Yes,
if you want
yes,
to use
yes.
old school verbiage there.
Right. I love it. It makes it so romantic, doesn't it?
Courtesan, yeah, they were high paid entertainers of all
Hello.
sorts. They knew how to
By
play
the
the
way,
piano. I don't know exactly what they knew, but and they spoke different languages.
che cosa per adesso spiace, non lo so. E che mi fa sì,
Yeah,
non mi sa Yeah.
exactly.
Like
Boom.
that, y'all.
Yeah.
Bam.
Bam.
Surprise. She got other languages in her
Yeah. It's not
vocabulary.
your hooker clothes, it's your courtesan clothes. Hooker sounds cooler.
I don't know. It's a little more exciting for me for whatever reason. Maybe it's,
It is.
this time frame that we live in, but I digress. So
Yeah.
I have a lot of bustiers and this type of thing. I'm an R&B funk artist. I don't even know if you guys, I don't know if you guys hear me break out in song a lot, because if I'm not allowed to do that, then
They're
you
all
can't.
like, they're all like, Rudrani, you should be singing. And you're like, well, I do.
I actually, before, this weird time that we're in right now, the shutdown or
Yeah.
whatever you want to call it, the pandemic, I was performing so much that I couldn't actually be in access so much. And then all of a sudden that happened. And I don't want to say I was bored, but it was like this thing where, what else am I going to do? So I started doing all these other things, like even this podcast was created
Yeah.
during all of this madness or whatever you want to call it.
Mhm.
So interesting point of view. I have that point of view. Pun. So anyway, yes. So we're talking about this, about my closet, because I'm very organized. So there is my hooker clothes, which is really my entertainment clothes, because I'm a funk R&B artist. I'm actually the #1 artist in Nashville on Reverb Nation, which is really weird. Can't perform right now. Lost half my band, but we're working on things, people. Stay tuned. Maybe we'll do a Get Happy live stream. Wouldn't that be fun? And so the whole thing about having all of this organization in my world is so I can be as chaotic as possible. And I know where all my things are. So that's kind of the world of Rudrani Devi. You guys now know more about me, but this is really supposed to be more about Connor. I love how we,
Well, now we know Connor likes hanging out in Johnny's closet.
yes, we do. I don't know. There might be
I
some
actually have
interesting
never been in
things
her
for you.
closet, but I am very curious about these hooker clothes.
I have a lot of leather and pleather items. I don't have a whip or anything like that, but I do have a lot of very interesting clothes, feathers, amazing shoes. Connor, I have more shoes and handbags than I do clothes.
Wow.
I know.
So you put the shoes on and the handbag on, and then you figure out what kind of clothes you're going to put on after that.
Actually, usually it's the jewelry first.
Okay. Okay.
So something speaks to
I mean,
me.
I like this because I can kind of hear, I'm imagining everybody listening right now going, "Oh wow, just shoes and purse." Oh wait,
And
no,
I
it's
have been there with just
just
shoes,
jewelry first, and then it's shoes, jewelry, and purse,
and then it's clothes.
and then everybody stops there and they're like, "Don't talk about it any farther."
Yeah, we don't want to know about the clothes, but the hooker clothes.
Welcome to the Get Your Happiness On Hooker
Yeah,
Clothes
for
edition.
reals, for reals. My mother actually, the last time we were in Las Vegas together, found the most amazing bra, and it wasn't a bustier, but it was the one that comes across the middle. I don't remember what it's called.
Yeah.
The thing in the middle with the hooks. And I remember when I was doing a show, and I ended with AC/DC's Black Back in Black,
Yeah.
and I'm like, Back in Black, I hit the sack, and right then, the whole middle piece came off, and
You
there I
pulled a
was.
Janet Jackson on everybody?
Well, I mean, there was no. Um, I still had the bra on, and
Yeah.
then I had the really tiny shorts on, but the
Mhm.
whole corset thing in the middle
Yeah.
just fell off. And my camera guy goes right to where I'm fumbling, trying to put it back on. And
Uh-huh.
yeah, I was like, that's not, you're supposed to go off to like, the bass player or
Mhm.
keyboardist. What are you doing focusing? I looked at it later and went, dude, what were you doing? He goes, oh, I was waiting. I don't know. I know.
He's like, I wanted to see what was underneath the corset.
That's right. My belly, my belly.
Mhm.
So yeah, but my mom picked that out for me. So we're in Las Vegas. We go into the shop and I'm like, Mom, this ensemble's like $450 and I'm gonna do it on stage with this. But it's so beautiful. It looks so good. My mother is 88 and she's picking out my hooker clothes.
I like it.
So just
See?
imagine that.
I love weird. I just,
Is that getting your happy on?
it is. It gets my happy on that, we're on this planet and we can, it gets my happy on when I'm really choosing to actually be on this planet and like live the way I'd like to live.
I know, right?
I
Gosh, you know
mean,
what? Speak a little bit about that because how many of you, have you noticed that the world's a little different? Or maybe it's not what you thought it was, like everything's the opposite of what it appears to be, and nothing's the opposite of what it appears to be. And we're sort of getting used to this really weird reality, and yet you get to be happy, Connor, during
yeah.
Splain.
Oh, it's like well, I used to be a civil engineer.
What were you?
Civil engineer.
That
I
was
mean,
my dad. That's my
I,
dad's job and my older brother's job.
yeah, I mean, I still have a license in California. But I used to, that's what I did full time. And with the tools of access consciousness, it's like, well, I quit that job and I went traveling. I went backpacking through New Zealand and Southeast Asia and Nepal. And the whole time I was just like, what, like, how are people living in the world? I'm like, I didn't want to live like that. I looked at the future of the next 30 years and I was like, I don't want to do that. There's got to be something better. So I'm like, what the hell is everybody else doing around the world?
Right.
And I met a
We had
lot
to
of
go check it
people.
out.
Yeah. And I'm still just on like this just amazing adventure that we get to have with the tools of access consciousness and just the amazing adventure of like, really, what would I like my life to be like?
I'm
And
curious.
not confine it to what I think it should be like, but like, if I was really truly creating my life today, what the fuck would I choose and create? And
Right.
just go down that road and that adventure and find out.
instead of what this reality impales upon us to believe
Yeah.
we should choose.
Yeah.
And I love that. So I'm just very curious. What was the first tool that kind of spoke to you? Because I remember that moment for me. What was it for you? That one tool you're like, oh shit, I can actually choose.
The
And
first moment?
like
Oh man.
the first tool, like for me, it was now I'm telling on myself, it was that superior asshole thing where they said, have you been a superior asshole where you've had this belief and you've been impaling it on everybody else? And here I was, this meditation teacher. So I was telling everybody, you have to have this hand mudra. It's got to look like, like this. And you got to like cross your legs and pretzel pose and eat tofu. And I'd been vegan for 11 years and all this stupid crap that I was impaling upon people. And when I finally got how much that wasn't a kindness, I was like, I don't want to be that person. So that was the first one. And that's not even a tool. That was just something in the foundation book. And I went, fuck, I have been a superior asshole all these years. And then the first tool that got me was, what else is possible now? And I started asking that about everything, which you guys, just to, in case this is the first podcast you've listened to because you're a Connor fan and you don't know me at all. What else is possible?
That would be cool. I mean, I'll have that.
Absolutely. And I can see that. But what if, you were having the worst day ever and you said, what else is possible now? You're creating a space for something greater. And what if you're having the best day possible and you say, what else is possible now? What else could you possibly create beyond the beyonds of what you thought possible? So that was one that spoke to me. So that's what I'm referring to. So was there a moment where you went, fuck? I mean, I think your sister Megan was in Access before you. Maybe she pulled you in, and I adore your sister so much. But what was it?
Well, I mean, I don't have I wouldn't say I have a vivid, very specific moment.
Okay. Superior asshole. That was my moment. Anyway.
Other than I really, because my sister ran my bars, and actually it was right after university. I don't like dating myself, but apparently I'm gonna have to talk about it. I hate dating myself.
That's okay. I'm much older than you are, I'm sure.
Hey, I like older women,
Okay, baby.
I like older, younger. I like them all. I like them all.
Same.
It's tough for me.
I like intelligence. I will say that's a preference of mine. Anyway, on.
So I graduated in the 2008, 2009 from university, during the what was that called?
Everything
the economic home crisis. Yeah,
that was the year I got shot. Was 2008.
Oh shit, that's right. Yeah, it was a wild year.
It was so strange, and okay, just Google my name, you guys, and you get the rest of the story. I'm not going to go into it now because this is all about Connor. Okay.
But is that the movie? There's a movie, right?
Oh,
about the whole thing, in the hotel and all that shit.
Called Hotel Mumbai.
Yeah, Hotel Mumbai. I watched that shit. I was flying an airplane. I was like, "Fuck, that's where Rudrani was at."
So you actually watched it? What'd you think?
Yeah, I watched the movie.
Yeah, I haven't watched it.
Were you in the movie? Were you?
Not personally.
Were you in the hotel?
I was in the hotel. I was.
Yeah, well, that's what I was. I was pretty sure. I was like, I fucking think Rudrani. I was like, which one is she? First, because only a handful of people come out of the hotel. Is that right?
Yeah, only 4 of us actually survived it, and I'm one of those 4.
Fuck off.
I know, right?
I'm fucking trying to remember, wild. That's all I gotta say. It's fucking
I haven't watched it because I thought maybe I would need to have a trifold sequencing system
probably
through my bars points.
You might
while I'm watching it.
You might be aware.
Gary told me, Gary Douglas is the founder of Access Consciousness. I know you guys have heard me say this a few times, and I will get back to the bars thing in a second. But I asked him, I said, would it be a good idea for me to watch the movie? And he goes, it's not going to be anything of what actually happened. Right. Yeah, that's right. They romanticize all the things. Yeah. But I still haven't seen it.
I don't believe movies that everything that goes on is how it was, but I do just go
producer, so I can tell you right now, not true.
Yeah. Yeah, and I mean, like for me, I at least watched it, and I just got the whole bit of like, fuck, like you're locked in a hotel for. I mean, the I did know that there
For
were at least like the
days.
facts of like you were in the hotel for however long, and pretty much most everybody got killed.
Almost everybody. And
Oh,
okay, I'll just share this piece because it might be of interest. I don't know.
oh
Um,
fuck! I like forgot all the details. Yeah, I wouldn't watch it if I was you.
I'm not gonna.
I don't think I would have watched it had I not known you. I was watching it because I was like trying to figure out which one you were.
That's funny. Nobody actually came to me and asked me anything about the movie. They based it all on interviews and whatnot. So I'm actually like four
Huh.
characters because they broke it up into different pieces. I found
Uh-huh.
that out from a producer. But
Right.
the bottom line is I was in India on a peace, love, and understanding meditation
Right.
retreat with a
Yeah.
guru I'd been following for 23 years.
Uh-huh.
And the hotel that they're showing is actually the Taj. And the hotel that I was shot in was the Oberoi. And so it was a train station first, then the Oberoi, then the Taj, then the Jewish temple, and all sorts of things.
So there were
And
like four different locations, kind of a thing.
four major locations and a couple
Major.
of smaller ones. But basically, I got dragged into safety by one of the employees because
That's
they leaned their head through a door and went, "If you want to survive, you have to come now." And I went, I was trying to get up and I couldn't because my right tricep had been shot out and my right femur had been shattered by an
yeah.
AK-47. So I raised one hand, and they came running out, grabbed my wrist, dragged me over bodies. So my POV is to the
Wow.
ground and into safety. And then the terrorists saw that there were live people. So they came after us and they
Yeah.
barricaded the door. They started shooting the door. This grenade comes through the
Wow.
service window and it lands like, I don't know, 4 feet from my face. And I said, "You guys need to go now," because I figured it was over for me.
Right.
And it never went off. It looked like a little tiny
Wow.
and what I was told by the FBI later when I was interviewed by them was that's supposed to go off on impact.
Wow.
And how are you so calm? And we determined, gosh, I didn't know this was going to go in this direction, but here we are. So
Yeah.
we determined that I have that gene that isn't fight or flight. It's like active because when I heard the
Right.
gunfire, I immediately said, "Get under the table now."
Yeah.
And I based it on a director that I had. I had a director that I represented when I was doing music videos and film production and all of that. And so funny because nobody knew I was a singer, and here I'm producing concerts and whatever. So um, he ends up being he ends up getting hired on for this new platform called HBO for this new show, just 4 episodes to begin with, called The Sopranos. And one of the shows was Tony Soprano with his peeps, right? And they're in a restaurant and they're eating their pasta and gravy,
Yeah.
whatever. In New York, they talk like
Yeah.
this, whatever. And they know a shooter's going to come in and take out this guy. So they all sit down. Tony's there. They're eating. It's like the boss mob is there. We're actually watching this. And the guy comes in, and then the shooter comes in and sits down, and there's a keyword. And when the shooter has a keyword, Tony's like, "Drop!" And they all go, "Phew." That's what I remembered from those on VHS when he sent it to me, um, of these 4 initial episodes. And it was basically he drops, the guy shoots him, they drag him through the kitchen, they pull him out through the back, roll him up on a carpet, throw him in a
Yeah.
dumpster. And
Mhm.
then you go back to the restaurant scene, and Tony goes back to eating his pasta.
Yeah, I
And
think I have seen that scene. Yeah.
it's kind of wild because I remember looking at it and go, "Wow, this is very, I don't know, this is my director's doing, whatever." But I remembered it. And so what I thought was, I heard that pop, 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 and I thought, "Oh my gosh, disgruntled employees." So I just told everybody at my table, "Get under the table now." And I'm looking at my friend Michael, he's a famous actor in Canada, and he's like getting hit, and I saw it was like slow motion, pew, pew. And then another one that actually went in a place where he still has a bullet because I can't remove it. I won't get into the details, but He's like, oh my gosh, I've been shot. I've been shot again. I'm like, Michael, get under the fucking table now, dude.
Interesting.
So, the FBI guys are like, you didn't, well, you said interesting. What does interesting mean?
Well, for me, I'm like, it's interesting to me that he would just stand there.
Um,
I'm more like you. I'd be like,
shocked.
oh fuck, get the fuck down.
I know, right? But and it's true. And that's what the FBI said. It goes, there are people that either freeze or they run or they bark out commands.
Oh, actually,
And
I'm not a can't command barker. Well,
I
no, that's not true. Actually, in certain situations, I totally forgot. I do bark commands.
so
I,
truth, if you had been there, would you have barked out a command and saved your ass?
I would have totally saved my ass. Would I have barked out commands? Probably, depending on yeah.
I was like, what the fuck, Michael? Get down. Why are you standing there?
Oh, for sure. Yeah. Oh, with that
And
kind of
so
thing, I wouldn't even just there would be
I
more
was like,
than barking of
this is so
commands.
stupid. Why are you?
There would be like grabbing people and like actually using way too much force than is necessary to like throw
Right.
them to the ground.
That's me
I'm not
also.
saying you should have done that. If it was within reach, that would have
All I
happened.
had was a butter knife.
Ah,
That's it.
yeah,
I didn't have an AK-47 or an
right.
AK-56 because in my tricep, I had an AK-56 bullet, and in my femur, I had an
Yeah,
AK-47 that the bullet, it's like this big, the casing,
yeah,
which
yeah,
if you guys aren't watching on YouTube, that's like 2.5 inches,
yeah.
was laying on my femoral artery. So I remember when they were putting me under, the doctors were like, we've got to remove that and you may never wake up because you've already lost 2/3 of the blood in your body. And I said, so we have to call my husband. I was married at the time, so he'll know where to send the body bag or whatever. Who says that? Who
You,
says that? So they call him. That's back in the day when you had to know the phone number because you didn't have iPhones,
right.
kind of weird thing. And so I call him and then I was in so much pain they couldn't even put me on the table. So I said, you know what? Gas me first and then put me on the table. He goes, very smart idea. So I don't know. Sometimes well, here's the thing, Connor. I've been tested. I am a genius. Not that I've
Well, you
ever
can't
been
say
able,
that publicly.
well, I have the papers. The weird part is it gets you fucking nothing. Okay? Get you nothing. And I'm still ADD, ADHD, and I don't know, all over the place, as you've probably noticed. Anyway, I digress. How do we get into this being about me?
I'm good at that.
Stop it.
Okay.
I want to talk to you about something. Okay, remember in the beginning of this call, if you guys are still with us, that I
Yeah.
talked about, I want to do something a little different. And it
Well,
started
we
because
did.
I did. Obrigada. So here was the thing. Connor and I are both certified facilitators in Access Conscious. We're certifiable. And what I noticed was there's a lot of us certified facilitators, but and we teach this in foundation, these 4 sources for creation. And I realized that a lot of the people teaching that are not even aware of what that is. And I felt like, if you could create your life any way you wanted to create it, these are the tools you require. Because here I am, I'm a holistic therapist. I work for myself. I've been in business for myself for 10 years. Okay. I left being a film producer where I was making 6 figures, and I'm out creating that.
Oh, I think it's time to bring that back on again.
Well, I have offered to do the story of Access and actually produce it. So we'll see.
What about this? What about the place?
That's what I'm talking about, love.
Oh,
I've
no, I
brought
mean
it
like the
up.
book, The Place.
Yes.
Ah,
We won't get into that story right now, y'all. But Connor, I've already put it out there. I know the peeps. I know a lot of peeps to make it happen. When it's ready to happen, I'm sure it will. But nobody has responded to the fact that I know peeps. That's okay. That's okay. I'm not. Doesn't affect me.
well, it's just the 4 sources. It's just the 4 sources of creation.
It is. It is.
You
And
got to
so,
ask questions and choose and
well, what
possibility
are the
and
4
contribution.
sources? Because Connor's already jumping into it. The 4 sources. What are the 4
Yeah.
sources?
Question,
Question, choice,
choice,
possibility,
and contribution.
and contribution. So, do you have a story about when you use the 4 sources of creation and what that did create for you? I have my story, but I want to hear your story.
Before I even took my very first any access consciousness class. It was like I was saying, like my sister ran my bars, and it was 2009, no jobs, at least none that I wanted. And so there was this one job that it was like, okay, yeah, you can go work, in the middle of, it was like in the middle of nowhere, Kentucky, actually.
Wait a
North,
minute. Kentucky's down the road from me.
I
Stop it.
know, I
What part
know,
of
but
Kentucky?
like,
Paducah?
no, on along the Ohio River. I don't even remember the name of the
It's so
town.
beautiful. It's probably Paducah. It's like a really artsy town. Anyway, I'm
No, it
just
wasn't an artsy town. It was
okay.
like Owen or something.
Oh, never mind.
No, it's
No
and
disrespect to Owen.
yeah.
Just saying. All
I
right.
can just I can guarantee well, maybe I would have had a good time, but the job was working 10 hours a night, 6 nights a week, watching trucks move dirt. And I was like,
What?
huh?
Drox? Who's that?
Trucks.
Oh, trucks.
Trucks move dirt. Because they were
Work.
building, they were building, and it was going to be for like 4 years. And they were building, because they were building these really big, like new technology called flow through dams. And those dams exist now.
Yeah.
They just had these massive, like a turbine that looks like a fan. And most dams creating electricity, they build it and then it holds back water, and then it goes through a small little pipe, like in comparison to the dam, like the Hoover Dam. That's what you think about.
Okay.
And
And I've seen the Hoover Dam, and
yeah,
that sounds so exciting. And why did you turn that down?
no, it's not like the Hoover Dam.
Oh, it's not like the Hoover
No,
Dam.
it's like this. It's a big dam, and then but instead of it holding all this water back, the water just flows through, and it just has a giant, like literally like a think of like a propeller from a boat that's like the size of your house, and the water flows through that really slowly, and that spins, and that generates electricity. So it was that, and I didn't want to do that because I was like, I don't want to work from like 10 o'clock at night until 8 in the morning, 6 nights a week. That sounds terrible.
That does.
Didn't sound it wasn't my cup of tea.
It wasn't like they were going to pay you millions of dollars for that either.
No,
So it wasn't going to create anything for your world.
maybe it probably would have still been some pretty cool something, but they were even like, dude, it's not going to be exciting. Like,
I met a nice
although,
Kentucky girl, started a
although
family.
I probably would have made more money than the job I did take, and I probably would have like, I don't know, it probably would have actually worked out really well. Actually, no, I shouldn't say it probably. Like everything I ever do works out really well for me, no matter what I do. So,
Same.
right. So it's like I didn't. That's not what I wanted to do. But I wasn't interested. Like looking back on it, I wasn't choosing what I wanted to do because I didn't think I had the choice because I didn't have good grades in university. I had like really bad GPA.
So you weren't a genius?
Oh, well, I was like one of those geniuses that was just like kind of like drunk all the time.
I'm bored. I don't want to do this. Why should I study? I get it.
Yeah. Well, and I more of a genius with like physics and statistics and probability, but anything else besides physics, statistics, and probability, I'm not that spectacular with.
That just sounds so exciting.
Yeah. Yeah. So, you know, my sister ran my bars and was like, what, and really asked the questions from the Being You book of like, what would you like your life to be like? And she was like, what kind of job would you like? Who would you like to work with? Would you like to be in a city, or would you like to be in the middle of nowhere? And I was like, I would actually really like to be, in a city somewhere. And I also asked for something just new. I wanted really cool and new, and like, I didn't really want to be around like my friends that I had already had, because I wanted to just like go experience something totally different.
Right.
And after going through and like choosing out these things that I actually wanted my life to be like, within 2 weeks, because it was that question ask, okay, what would I really like my life to be like? And then choice, this is what I would like it to be like. Within 2 weeks, I got a phone call from somebody else in Boston that was like, hey, we got this job going on. Because at the same time, the job in Kentucky, it was like, I was like supposed to be there a month earlier, and they're like, oh, there's this delay, and there's this delay, and there's this delay.
The universe totally had your back. I love it.
And then I got a call from Boston, and up until this point, all my interviews had literally been like formal interviews, like, well, we need to put you through the process and so on and so forth. And this guy, I talked to the boss at the office, and after 20 minutes of talking to him, he goes, so how quickly can you get up here? And
Wow.
I was like, oh shit. I'm like, well, I could go tomorrow, but I mean, I'd have to get a flight, but it would probably be good for me to have an apartment so I can fly out next weekend and look for an apartment. And I think I'll be able to have an apartment in about 2 weeks. So let's say I could be there in 2 weeks. He's like, all right, don't worry about it. We'll give you till the end of the month. And so 1 month later,
So
I literally
funny.
went from, I don't know if I have a job, to a month later, I was moving to Boston and I
I
moved.
love it.
It was amazing.
I have to say one thing, because this
Yeah.
is something that I know about us humanoids. Somebody asks you a question,
Yeah.
and you're so literal, and they probably didn't even mean what they asked. It's like,
Yeah.
how quickly can you get here? Meaning you've got the job, and you're like,
Right.
oh, how quickly can I get here? Can I get there tomorrow? Can I get there in 2 weeks? We'll give you to the end of the month, dude. Chill, just chillax.
Yeah, exactly. I'm like, well, let me get all engineering on your ass, and I'm going to calculate it out. If I'm going to be really, truly smart about this, this weekend, I know I can book a flight. And you know, I had it all planned out. And then it was like, and I got there, and where I was living wasn't so spectacular. So within 3 months, I was like, God, I would like something else. And then one of my supervisors was just like, hey, you know, I know a guy from doing triathlons that has a place open if you want to go check that out. I went and looked at this place, and I was like, oh, it's amazing. It was in a loft. I was
Your body
like,
does that
my life is a movie. Because it was in like an artist, it was literally an artist loft in Boston. My giant window looked out over the ocean, and
Wow.
I got to watch the sunrise every morning, like at 5:30
Shut
in the
up.
morning. And I loved that. You know, other people are like,
Jealous.
make it dark. And it was just like that sun would peek in, and I'd wake up and I'd be able to like look at the sun. I'm like, oh, that's amazing. And my office was a 10-minute walk. I love walking, big fan. It was a 10-minute walk from where I lived. And I mean like door of my room to door of my office, not like,
Wow.
and so it was amazing. Like my first year in Boston was phenomenal. I did everything I could have ever wanted to do. I learned how to
love
sail.
Boston.
I just
How long
kept
were you
going.
there? How long
I
were
was
you
there
in
for
Boston?
3
I love
years.
Boston. How long?
I was there for 3 years.
I ran the Boston Marathon.
And you know, it's interesting. I'm realizing as we're talking, you did? That's amazing.
Wait, I did. Hold on.
You know,
A little plug for me.
yeah.
My first book, Soul Survivor, I had a lot of hair then.
Uh-huh. I see that.
It's 400 pages. A lot of
Jesus. You
real
do like to write.
I love
I'm trying to
writing.
figure out how I can write 75 pages and
Well,
see if I can get away with that.
Creative writing class. Just host me. And then I wrote For the Love of Running. Do you see the soles of the shoes for the heart?
Oh, that's cool. Yeah, that's fun.
Yeah. So another 300 pages. Bigger than the Being You book. This is like Atlas Shrugged if I'd put them together, right?
Yeah.
And then there's this little tiny little access book, which is for those of you that can't see, I'm doing little visuals on YouTube, but this is like the 90-minute whatever. And yeah, because after my doctor finally released me 2 years and 1 month later, I wanted to run the Boston because I was training for it when I got shot. And everybody said, you need to add it to the end of your book. And I said, I can't. Nobody's going to want to read a book that thick. So
sure, why not?
Well, that was my point of view at the time. Anyway, so for 400-page book, 300-page book, and then 90-page book. And
just gotta get over our points of views that we have to read books from front to back. Just fucking open it to wherever you want and start there and go wherever you want to go from there.
Well, I actually made this an Audible also, and Heather Nichols wrote the foreword, so it's her sexy voice at the beginning of the book, and then there's all the things, and then well, anyway, I've got like 4 other people on that say different things in the book, but anyway, all this stuff. I keep making this about me, and I don't want to do that. So here we go. Let's go back to you, my love. So here you were asking questions.
Yeah.
And all these possibilities, you know, you have choices and possibilities, and you were able to outcreate your life. And this was shortly after a bars class, or not bar, a bars session with your sister.
Yeah. And I got a job that they normally don't look at somebody with my GPA. They normally look at the GPA and go, nope.
Oh, that's right. You mentioned that in the beginning. So you
Yeah.
didn't have high
I didn't have
scores.
any of the credentials to meet what was required for the job, but I still got the job.
Okay.
And then I was really good at following the energy, as we might say, and asking questions and choosing for at least the first year. And I'm realizing in our conversation right now, I started choosing jobs that I wanted to do purely because I thought I wanted to do them. I didn't choose because they were sexy jobs. I was like I wanted the big ones and all that stuff. I didn't
Right.
choose based on, I didn't ask the questions of like, what do I really want my life to be like? Like I did, and I created that job from it, but I didn't actually keep going with that. And I'm realizing that right now because I like moved and I left and I was like, this is crap after a certain period of time. And I'm realizing right now, no, the crap was I stopped asking questions and I stopped choosing what it was I would actually like. Because had I done that, I might have, I'm not sure where it would have gone.
That's interesting that you say that because that last piece is contribution.
Yeah.
But we've got to actually be willing, to get to the space of seeing the possibilities, asking more questions, because it kind of keeps opening more doors and windows. Once you get to the space of actually choosing those different possibilities, that's when contribution comes in,
It's just
and
like
when
boom,
you
boom,
stop
boom. It's like,
asking.
yeah, it's just like left, right, and center. It's like the universe, like everything is showing up super easy unless you start choosing stuff that is not easy.
I remember once I was on the Be Different, Stay Weird class, and Dane was talking about following the energy
Yeah.
just mentioned. And you guys, it's kind of like a light heavy tool. And I promise I'm going to get back to the bars piece if you guys are
Probably
just
something you all have done before. You just didn't think about it.
right. It's like when something super excites you, like when you see a child super excited
Yeah.
and they just run to the little dog or whatever it is, the person, hi, they don't even question it. And that's kind of that piece where if
Wow.
your body just opens up, it's like I saw a Bentley. I was teaching a relationship done different class in Florida, and I brought my mom along. We're walking, we would walk to the pier every day. It was like 3 miles there and back. And I saw this Bentley, and I'd never seen one in real life. And I went, oh my
Mhm.
God, my body just went, I want to go to that. And I walked
Mhm.
up this beautiful Bentley's a car, in case some of you aren't car
You know what a
enthusiasts.
Bentley is? It's
I,
it's a
and I,
car that's probably worth more than, it's a car that's worth more than my house. I know that much.
no way, it's 150,000.
Okay, well, it's almost worth more than my house. I thought Bentleys were like 500.
I was told, okay, well, let me finish the story. So I walk up to the car
You
and I'm
Googled it.
like, I'd like to have you in my life. It's got this
Mhm.
wooden dash and all the stuff.
I mean,
And
maybe it was used. Maybe it used its
yeah,
150.
that's where my brain went next. I went, I could get a used one for like maybe
Yeah.
50,000. I
Well, because
don't know.
the
Maybe I
key
could.
with I'm pretty sure the key with the Bentleys is that every single one of them is custom made.
Oh, is that the deal?
Like you choose your fucking leather, you choose your fabrics throughout the thing, like you
I would have
choose
taken that one.
fucking all of it.
It was
Yeah,
gorgeous.
there you
So this
go.
guy walks up, like I'm all in my head. I'm going, maybe I could get one for 50,000. That wouldn't be so bad. I paid more for my Mercedes. Maybe I could.
Starting at 200,000.
Oh, okay. You're looking it up. I love it. So this is what happens. This
Yeah.
guy walks up with, I guess, his daughter, because she looks like she's 11. And he goes, yeah, nice vehicle. I said, yeah. And he goes, yeah, they're all over to Florida. You can get a used one for 50,000. I went, really? He goes, yeah, I just saw one with only 30,000 miles on it when I looked at
Oh
Celeste.
wow.
Celeste is my mom. And I
I
looked over
mean,
and I went, I'm going to have that.
yeah. I mean, that
I
would
want
make sense
that.
that they would drop that much in price once they're used, just
Once you
because.
drive them off the lot, whatever, but
Yeah, because it's like if the whole purpose of getting one is it's custom made to your liking, then you know.
yeah, true story. True story. But there was this thing, getting back to the whole point of this story, my body just went, and that's what I'm talking about. When your body, you guys, when something totally ignites your world,
Yeah.
it's undeniable. Imagine when you were a child and you got so excited about ice cream or whatever it was. It's that energy of just, oh my gosh. So you
Wow.
ask questions and then you allow your body to show you where to go next. And that's
Wow.
what I do. So here I was in this call with Dane, Be Different, Stay Weird. he's saying, what is it to follow the energy? And I went, okay, well, Dane, so what if, following the energy for me is literally every time I explode, I go in that direction because that's what's going on in my world. And he goes, yeah, lady, that's following your awareness. I'm like, okay, got it.
Yeah.
And I didn't realize, like you said, Connor, I've been doing that my whole life.
Yeah.
If something excites me, I am down. I mean,
Yeah.
sign me up. If it isn't fun, I'm done. I'm like, I have no interest. I can't even hear the words coming out of your mouth. But
Yeah.
if I'm excited, I am so in it. I'm in it to win it. I'm in it. I'm not even to win it. I'm just in it because it may not
'Cause
be,
it's
like you
fun.
said, the most grandiose thing, but it always creates the most for me.
Yeah.
And that's where contribution comes in. So it's funny you said, I just realized I stopped asking questions when it came.
Yeah, I
Speak a
hadn't
little more
realized
about
I
that.
stopped. I hadn't realized until right now that I stopped asking questions. I stopped asking, is this really what I want to do? Is this really going to create what I'd like to create? Is this like the questions I did ask with the previous job of where I was going to go watch people move dirt, I was
Trucks.
asking, do I really want to do this?
Yeah,
And I was asking, is there something else? Because I would like something else.
right.
And it wasn't, and I was still like willing to take that job if like nothing else showed up, but I was like, I would actually like something else. And until I really made the choice of what I actually wanted, things weren't really showing up. But then I also started and I realized like after a year into being in Boston, I stopped asking questions, and then I was choosing without asking questions. I was just deciding what I wanted to do. I was like, oh, this
Deciding.
is what's going to create the future I want to have. And I kept deciding and then choosing off of that and
Yeah,
not
deciding, you
actually asking
guys.
questions.
Deciding is thinking. And what's faster, knowing or thinking? And
Yeah.
when you ask the questions and you get that heavy light thing where your body goes, or "Grr,"
Yeah.
that is like, no, that's knowing, by the way.
Mhm.
That is knowing. So when did you start actually asking questions again?
Um, I was like, what? There were some questions in there. I decided I didn't really want to do engineering. I started asking questions again when I finally kind of went like, I was like, I want to go travel. I had friends that were going backpacking, and it was kind of like a thing at the time. Like Americans were starting to do it. People, I don't know if it's still a thing. Obviously not right now with COVID, but you
Or
know,
not? Hey,
it
who
was, yeah,
knows?
it was something where, so at some point in time, I was like, I'm just ready. I don't know at that point in time, I was like, I don't know what I want to do with my life. Engineering's, right now, engineering isn't it, but I'm not really sure what I want to do. So I even looked into like skydiving and being just like a skydive instructor or a skydive camera guy. I was like, I was ready to do that. I was even looking at like, I could be homeless, but I like skydiving too much for being homeless.
I
Um,
like a bed.
and so, yeah, with traveling through New Zealand and Nepal and Southeast Asia, actually at the end of those travels, was when they were doing a 7 day in New Zealand, a 7 day event, and I like saw the part because I was actually climbing the mountain that was right next to the 7 day event, Aruapehu, and after I climbed that mountain, I went. Well, we didn't finish because it was like too foggy, and it was like I was like, we should turn back. I was like, well, I didn't say we should turn back. I was like, we should turn back. And people were like, no, I'm going to do it. And I was like, all right, you can keep going. I'm turning back. It's not
Right.
that vital to me to go get fucked up in the fog and the ice rain and stuff like that.
Yeah,
Um, and so, because we couldn't even see like a foot in front of our faces, I'm like,
that's stupidity talking, y'all.
yeah.
In my
So,
interesting point of view. That's
yeah. So I went back to the chateau, and I just kind of like was like, my sister and my mom were actually in the class, and I just kind of had this moment of like, I got to go to one of those. And so the moment I finished my travels, I was headed home. I was actually wanted to travel longer, but one of my friends was getting married. That marriage got canceled.
there's
But
the universe again, having your back.
having my back because I got back to the United States, and right after I got back to the United States was the very first level 2 and 3 I took, and
Wow.
After that level 2 and 3, which are now called the choice of possibilities, I at that moment I didn't go, oh, I want to be a facilitator. I just started looking for other. I actually kind of, after the travels and other things, I started. I didn't used to think that you could change the world. I didn't. I used to not think that it was possible.
If I could change the world.
Yeah. So that was my point of view until in traveling, I met so many people that were so interested in changing the world and volunteering and doing things like that, especially when I was in Nepal.
Wow.
And a lot of them were getting, if I met them before they had done their volunteer work, they were like super excited. When I met them at the end, they were like, this is fucked.
Oh my God.
But at the same time, I realized, in meeting all these people that were like, I desire to change the world, I was like, that's cool. And that combined with access in doing my first choice of possibilities class, because I had already done a foundation and a bars class, but I was just kind of like, I was like there.
Sure.
And I didn't know what the fuck was going on. I was like, oh, but I did know what was going on. But at that time I was like, question and what else is possible. And it was just like very surface level in comparison to what it is now.
Oh my God.
And
Sorry.
and yeah, and all of that, I just went with, I just went, fuck, we can change the world. And I was like, and we can do it with the tools of access consciousness. I'm like, it's not possible. I would say, I had the point of view you couldn't change the world. And I think I was correct, as long as you're not asking any questions.
Right. And that's what I mean by the 4 sources of creation. I have so many people that hit a brick wall and they're like, well, I don't have a choice, because they don't think they have they don't know they can actually make a different choice. And that's what blows my mind. That's the reason why I wanted to have this conversation with you, because I know intimately that, and the thing is Connor, we both have already we're already doing it, not knowing you were doing it. But then when you actually know that you can do it, then it's like, let's do this. When you know you can actually go there, oh my goddess.
Yeah. And the interesting thing is, and in our conversation, it's like, I have probably been trying to discover what question really is, but what I really discover more than anything is where I'm not in question.
Yeah.
I've kind of always looked for like, how do I be more in question? But there's not that, there's that, but what I'm realizing is it's more just about discovering where I'm not in question. I find out, like today, I fucking realized a lot. I was like, this morning, I was like, holy shit.
I've taught this class and I'm teaching myself. It's a teachable moment to myself.
I totally thought if you would ask me earlier this morning, I would have been like, fuck, I'm awesome at question. And then 1 hour later, I was like, there's a whole area of everything that I have been not asking questions with. And I'm like, my level of question now in comparison to where it was yesterday is like 1,000-fold. I'm 1,000 more. Yeah. Like that. Mic drop.
No, true story. I mean, so how many places have we created our reality as an excuse to not be aware?
Wow.
It's like, let's not ask the question so that I can give myself permission to not be aware of the possibilities where I could choose, right?
And not choose.
I know. It's like,
can you say that again? I like that. That I know is great.
I have that little squeaky thing.
You should dub that for a song. Like start the song off with that. I know. I can't do it.
One of my favorite songs that I wrote starts out with "Shut your mouth." I'll send it to you.
Okay.
Because I always wanted to have a song that had "shut your mouth" in it. So I started a song with it. Shut your mouth and know I hear you, baby. So anyway, I can hear you breathing in my, like whatever crazy. I don't remember all the words, but it's called I Want to Know. I thought I sent you my link to my Rue Rocks thing. I don't know if I did. Did I?
You did on Facebook?
I don't know. So you guys, you're learning so much about me today. I have a page called RueRocks.com.
I'm surprised all these people don't know all this stuff about you.
Because because I'm talking about access. I'm not talking about the multidimensional reality worlds that I live in, but that's my album that was supposed to be released in March of 2020, and y'all know how that went.
Yeah.
So you can download it for free, and one day I'll have a band again. Maybe Connor will come here to do a right. What horses, conscious horses, conscious riders,
right rider for you.
Yeah, right rider for you, and conscious horse, conscious rider class, and maybe I'll do a little showbie at the end. And even better, or no, a more, I don't know, more contributive, I don't know, something else.
And I gotta say, I'm getting good. I'm getting good at these classes.
Are you now?
Man, you know, I would, if this was last year, I would still be like, I don't want to go do a class in Tennessee. If I'm not ready now, I'll be super fucking ready in the next few months.
Okay, so
when I say that, I'm just saying it's gonna. Yeah, I've been training myself too. I want to get to, I want to get to a point that when I take the fucking big ass stage, I'm not like coming out flat.
I'm not worried about you. That was the whole thing when I was saying to Gary, I'm like, fucking let me teach a goddamn class already. I mean, seriously, I'm not, and people think I'm weird because I can talk to him. Like, I love Gary Douglas. You guys, Gary Douglas, founder of Access Consciousness, like, I am such a fan of the Gary, and he plays with me. And I didn't realize how fortunate that I am. And maybe I'm over speaking. I text this guy in the middle of a class about a question that somebody has in the class, and he gets right back to me. I mean, I'm so fortunate. And I didn't realize that was.
And thank you for saying this right now, because I don't do that. I don't ever have my phone on me well enough, and I'm going to actually start doing that now.
I think you should.
I'm going to.
And I gave you my actual number for you to text me directly if you wanted to. And
yeah,
not responding to it, obviously. So evidently I am not up. I mean, Gary Douglas texts me directly.
Yeah.
I don't know. But anyway, I don't mean to make that a thing. It's not like I'm making it significant. It's just, I didn't realize how amazing this motherfucker is, man. He like totally is available to us. Yeah. To me, who am I? I'm nobody in the world of access. Well, we're in 179 countries. I think it's more than that now, but it's like, who am I in the grand scheme of things? And yet this man takes a minute to respond to me. We've been texting for over 8 years, and I didn't realize how, not to make me more special or anything, I'm trying to point out how amazing that guy is. And so I take a page from the book of Gary Douglas, and when people reach out to me, I do my best to respond. For me, within 24 hours, and this guy's like, within 2 or 3 hours, he's like there. And I'm so grateful to him. He fucking cares. I mean, he's the reason why Connor and I are even having this conversation with you guys.
True.
You know, it's like consciousness regardless. And that's where I'm at, whatever it takes, with ease and joy and glory, because I don't want to be shot by terrorists, to create it. But I kind of really want, if I'm going to still be here, I want to be here for good, not evil. I want to be here because it's fun for me. I want to be here because I have the most amazing friends. I mean, in Access, oh my gosh, you guys, what pandemic? I seriously have the most amazing friends, and I've loved Connor for a long time, and I'm getting to know so much about him in this conversation. I'm so grateful to you for doing this with me. Seriously.
Get your happy on.
I totally adore you. And even more so now, because I know more, even more. We met 8 years ago at the sex and relationship class in Houston. Yeah. You remember that?
Yeah. And you fucked my world up. It was awesome.
You don't remember that. You told me I had a nice butt.
I did?
You did.
Oh, I'm so proud of myself right now.
My butt, and you said nice butt. I went, oh my gosh, because I had never been. It was like a second.
I'm so proud of me right now. This is great.
I was like, that guy just touched my butt, and I didn't know what to do. I was like, okay.
I think you fucked with my world, and then I don't remember me doing that, but I remember you fucking with my world.
No, it was
you were like sitting front row, and you like turned around, like yelled something, and something about, because it was sex and relationship class, so I think it had to do with sex, and then I was like,
Gary said something. He said, "Oh my gosh, am I going to actually out myself?"
Probably not. We probably should. We can do it after we stop recording.
Yeah, you and I should talk. But it was really, he facilitated me on something about, having a younger lover, and
Oh yeah.
And I was like, yeah, it's on like Donkey Kong. And then he said, you and Connor should hook up. And then you walked up and slapped my butt.
Oh, I
And that
did that
all messed up.
afterwards?
He did.
Oh man, look at
Because it sort of
me.
messed with my head a little bit. I was like,
Oh.
Gary, what are you doing? Stop that. So, I don't know. So funny. And then here we are like 8, almost 9 years later.
Yeah.
Who knows? You guys, if that made you like totally want to give up on the Get Happy podcast, I totally understand. Or if that like totally made your body go,
We started if we started talking about hooker clothing a long time ago. If
I
they made it through
know.
hooker clothing and can't handle that, I'm surprised.
Well, here's the thing, if you guys are still listening, I'm not into this new age stuff. New age sewage is what I call it. That's kind of like my little coin for it.
What's new age stuff?
New age sewage. New age, you don't know what new age is?
Is it music?
Contemplate your navel, and the house has to be in the 7th house, and the blah blah blah, and the moon has to be this way, and
Oh, in order to
I don't know, in order to I don't know, people, I don't even know what I'm trying to say. It's like this spiritual thing or whatever. And
I thought we were talking about like music.
oh no.
No, I didn't actually. It's more me just making a joke
Oh,
about music.
oh my gosh.
Just saying how little I know about new age stuff.
Well, I was so into it that everything's the opposite of what it appears to be. And if new age works for you guys, please continue, s'il vous plaît, and all the things.
Yeah.
It was kind of my way of, and then I realized that thing about being a superior asshole, or I was trying to shove it down everybody's throat. And if it works for you, God bless you. And if it doesn't work for you, that's okay too. I don't have a point of view anymore. I don't want to be that person that shoves the shit down your throat. I'm just going to tell it like it is for me, because I'm going to just be me.
There you go.
Me changing the world. And yes, by the way, you can change the world. You can save the world. Connor, and I love that you said that, because, and maybe this is a great way to end on this, because I could talk to you forever, it seems. I am here to change the world, and I am here to save the world, and I'm here to have these conversations, and I'm willing to leave everyone behind. I'm not willing to cut my arms and legs off. I'm going to be that person that's me, that could change in every 10 seconds. I'm not saying everything you heard tonight is going to actually be the real and true me tomorrow. All I know is that when you are with me, yeah.
That we can guarantee you it won't be. That's the guarantee we can make.
Yeah, true story, my love. I'm just in that space of, gosh, what's going to create the most here? If I have to be a superior asshole, now I'm in the space of, hey, if that's required, I'm willing. If it's not, okay, then I'm going to shut my mouth and walk away. But yeah. Anyway, the 4 sources for creation. Yeah, question, choice, possibilities, and contribution. And thank you for your contribution, Connor.
Thank you.
Are amazing. You guys, I'm going to have all the stuff down there, so that if you need to find Connor, if you can, if your body goes, ah! Then you'll be able to find him, because I'm going to have all the stuff.
ConnorJHill.com.
Oh, ConnorHill.com.
Connor J Hill.
Oh, whoa. J for what?
James.
Connor James
Hill.
My dad's middle name was James.
See, I like to order martinis and go Hill.
What?
James Hill.
Shaken, not stirred. Actually, I like mine shaking because I like the ice slivers. So do you do gin or vodka?
Oh, I love Vesper, actually, and especially the Vesper kind, which is the Bond martini. So and I actually really like doing a Vesper where it's 1 part, like 1.5 parts vodka, 1.5 parts gin, plus a swirl of Lillet Blanc in the martini glass. So just Lillet Blanc, and you make sure it coats the inside of the glass. Shake the gin and the vodka together. Put that in the glass, and then twist of lemon peel. Oh, I love those. Actually, now that you got me talking about it, I want to go make one now.
You know what? I'm going to do the same. So mine is, I like Beefeater a lot, but Monkey 27 is my favorite. Beefeater, I love a dry gin. So I do just gin.
Oh, you got to get some craft gins. There's some really amazing craft ones out now.
Yeah, we got to talk. We got to
Yeah.
talk, baby. I've even thought about putting together a gin book because I want to do a gin tasting thing. Gin's my day.
I've got a really good one that's made in Texas right now.
Shut
Dripping
the front
Springs.
door.
Yeah, it's really amazing.
So can I get it here or do I have to like order it or what's the name of
Yeah,
it?
I guarantee you can get some awesome gin in Tennessee.
Well, we can. We can.
I'm not saying
I'm
beefeat
kind
is
of a
bad. I'm just saying
simplistic
get some
little.
really extra special ones out there.
Oh, you got to come visit. Okay.
Okay.
We'll
Okay.
figure out all the gin things. Although
Yeah.
you're doing gin and see, vodka to me doesn't taste like anything. So it's very dangerous.
Ooh. Ooh. Well, there's a Colorado vodka called, oh shit, it's like Mudslide. No, that can't be it. Moo Moody. It's a potato vodka from Colorado. Oh my God, it's delicious. And
All
it
right.
has different flavors. So
We'll
good.
talk. We'll talk. So you guys, thanks for listening in. I'm gonna, like I said, if you
As
like
can
this
tell, I like
podcast, you'd think we were already having our martinis,
Yeah.
but I swear that's not what's happening right now.
I'm fucking ready for one now. That's
Yeah.
great.
Well, okay. So I'm gonna pause this
Woody
and you are gonna have
Creek.
a martini. What's it called?
Woody Creek. So good.
Woody Creek, y'all. So Woody Creek, would
You
you
can
like to
find it.
sponsor me for this podcast? Woody Creek.
Woody Creek.
Shout out to Woody Creek.
Not just Woody Creek vodka, but Woody Creek potato vodka. Awesome.
All
Super
right.
awesome.
I'm
Yeah,
gonna
I
send
love
them
it.
this little clip and maybe they'll actually sponsor my podcast.
There you go.
Why
Give me
not?
some money. Send me a bottle, Woody Creek.
That's right. Hello. Hello,
I
you
mean, I
guys.
shouldn't talk about these things, but I talk about them less for the company and more for the people to really taste them. You know, like you said, you're like, vodka tastes the same. I'm like, until you have Woody Creek
I see how you be.
potato vodka, you know?
All right. I'll take your word for it.
Yeah.
And
Cool.
then I'll actually have to go out and get it to be sure. So all
Yeah.
the things. All right, you guys. Thanks so much for
Right.
listening. Thank you,
Yeah.
Connor, for being my guest.
Thank you, Johnny.
If you like this podcast, please hit the like button. If there's a conversation you'd like to know more about, please let us know. I read all the comments.
Put comments in.
Put the comments in. And if you know anybody that this conversation could remotely interest them or be a contribution, please share all the things. So thank you so much. And yeah, thank you, Connor. Until next time. Ciao, ciao for now.